Welcome in everyone to episode 138 of the Balcast podcast. I'm your host Caleb Peng, joined by my co-host, soon to be non-Australian Anicor. And I see you haven't packed at all.
Yeah, I haven't packed at all. I can't lie. But
you leave in 2 days?
I have 2 days. Yeah, I need to start packing today.
What are you going to do with this
suitcases.
couch?
Oh, I'm gonna leave it here. So okay. I don't want to be too loud for this. Yeah, but
what you got people listening through your walls? What's going on?
I don't know,
what
just in case. But I have like 2 months left on my lease. Yeah.
Okay. 2 months? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you were sublet.
Because yeah.
Because your visa's
no. It was
I'm
just
sure
that's
like out of contract, Anicor.
You keep whispering.
What are you gonna do, bro?
Watch your landlord is a dedicated fan of the podcast, aka Squirrel Trapper.
What are you gonna do? Well, by then I'll be gone. So
yeah.
By the time it's published, it's fine. So literally anything I just don't want, I'm just gonna leave it here. Although actually no, I'm gonna knock on next door neighbor. The thing is, I was like, okay, I'm gonna knock on next door neighbor. The first question I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna be like casually, I'm gonna be like, hey, do you know our landlord? Just like, I got some questions to ask them, yeah, just to scout out in case the landlord's like their dad or something, yeah. And then if they say yes, then I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I'll.
But what if it is their dad? They don't say it's my dad. Like.
If it is, then I'll be like, oh yeah, I got some.
But what if they don't say it's my dad? If it is their dad, but they don't say it.
No. But if I'm like, oh, you know the landlord, yeah, and they're like, yeah, I do, then I'll be like, you know what? That's fine. We don't need to.
You're not going to ask it, okay?
Yeah. Okay. But if they don't know the landlord, then I'll just be like, yo, if you want to take anything, just go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your backup plan if your neighbor doesn't want all your crap? Like, I don't understand.
No, I'm just gonna leave it here otherwise, isn't it?
What? You won't get charged?
Like, I mean, I ain't here, so.
Oh,
good
my
luck.
Gosh. Oh, dude. This guy just going to trash the place and leave.
I mean, you know what? If anything, yeah, like this place was unfurnished before, so it's furnished now.
I mean, you better hope that it's not just your current landlord who's not a PvP listener here, but not your next landlord is not going to be a PvP listener.
Don't they I don't
know, you just trashed that last place.
Connected to like a bank account or something? Like, can't they charge you after the fact?
No.
Oh, you just pay like straight cash?
So I was like, whatever, innit? Like,
you don't want the deposit back?
Well, I ain't going to get it back, am I? So,
Well, not if you leave 2 months early and leave all your stuff behind. Yeah,
the alternative was having to find someone else to take this, yeah? And in the time frame, it was
post it really online, be like, hey, anyone want this for free? Just pick it up this day.
I don't have any time. Do I look like I have time? Oh, what? To pick up stuff? Oh, no. I'm not going to get bond back regardless because I'm 2 months early. So
no, just have people come and pick up like the day before you leave.
No, unless I get someone to take the flat, then I won't get my bond back.
No, not about the bond. Your furniture.
I don't want it.
I know.
Oh, what you're saying? Sell it?
Yeah, or you could just say someone pick it up for free. Like, come by my place. So, like,
that's just a hassle for me.
Anyway, I feel like this guy was born yesterday. Anyway, today we have a fantastic guest today. We have Amanda Lundberger on as our wonderful guest for today's episode. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing well. This was a very fascinating insight into Anicor's mind here. So
yeah, it's scrambled. It makes no sense, which is why he's making these bets with me.
Let me just say, what is the benefit for me to give my shit away for free?
You could just say, you could literally just be like, take all this stuff for $5 or something like that, $10, whatever. You just gotta come and pick it up.
That's not worth it.
So you could get rid of it and you could vacuum and then.
And then what? I ain't getting the bond back regardless.
I don't know. I guess like I live in places where they charge you if you just don't leave this. If you leave stuff behind.
I don't think they can do that to me. So.
Well, if they don't have any of your bank account info, then
he's golden.
They got your info. Like, what if you end up on like a watch list on Australia? Every time you come back in, be like, yo, you left all this stuff. Anyway.
But I would like to come back in the future. I was thinking like next year Melbourne regional, like little holiday things. So
yeah, you should try to rent out the same apartment complex. Yo, you remember me a year ago? Is my furniture still here? I kind of still need it. Yeah, I kind of still need it. Anyway, like I said, we have wonderful guest Amanda Lundberger in today. Let's learn a little bit about you. For those that don't know, which is wild, I feel like everyone listening to this do know. But for those that don't know, Amanda is obviously plays PvP, but also content creator, and then world-renowned shoutcaster as well, and shoutcaster for the Dortmund regional recently too. So we'll talk more about that. But I'm just curious about your start into Pokemon in general. Like when did you even get into it? Were you one of those people that got into Pokemon from Pokemon Go, or like
yeah,
you
everyone's giving me crap
really?
about that because I never played any Pokemon game growing up. I never watched the shows or anything like that. It was just because it was a mobile game, and some of my friends were like, "You have to download it," because it was like the big thing in 2016.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then I was the only one who kept playing as well. Also because I'm on Team Mystic, but I think I would have been on Team Instinct at the beginning because I like the color yellow more. But everyone's like, "No, you got to be on Mystic because you're on my team." And of course, now it's too late. Now I have some loyalty.
Mystic is the basic team, in my opinion.
Hey.
But you're Mystic too, right? See, this all makes sense. This all check it out. I give respect for everyone that's Team Instinct because I feel like no one's favorite color is really yellow. I mean, there might be some, right? Is your favorite color yellow?
Yeah.
Wait, it is?
Yeah.
You're like the first person I met that favorite color is yellow, right? Have you met someone that's favorite color is yellow, Anicor?
To be fair,
but it's like a very specific yellow.
What kind of yellow?
It's like that mustard yellow, kind of like almost an orangey color.
I was gonna say it's not even the nice yellow.
I was like thinking like the yellow Starburst yellow, but she's like, she's like, if you leave the mustard out on the table too long, it turns to this color.
Oh, perfect. That's its perfect color.
If you leave anything out for too long,
wait, what? Why is that your favorite color? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, that's a generic question of anything. Why is something your favorite? Anything. It's just aesthetically pleasing to you, or you like it for some reason.
Well, I don't have a favorite color, so I never understand.
All right, okay.
I don't. I really don't. What's your favorite color, Anicor? Blue?
Yeah, but also
like I said, basic.
He's just saying, okay, I can understand that. Now that you put it in that context,
particular shades of blue. Particular shades.
Okay. What is it? Sky blue? What is it?
Blue?
What
blue?
Yeah,
it's sky blue.
It's sky blue. That's even more basic. You might as well just been regular blue. Sky blue is like as basic as it goes. That's like the only type of color where you get more specific and gets more basic as it goes along.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that you guessed that because
yeah, you thought you got me outread. Yeah, no, not the case. Interesting. Okay, well, that's why. Anyway, but most people's favorite color is not yellow, so I feel like if they're picking Instinct, they're definitely going hard mode. I picked Valor, but
yeah, that also seems basic to me though.
Yeah,
it's more basic than it's more basic than yellow.
Huh? Red, I'm a bully. Yeah, well, that fits. Yeah. If we're basic, Caleb's a bully.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to pick red.
I just picked it because in the initial message, it said they value Pokemon that are stronger or something like that. So I thought if you pick a team, it gets like certain attributes. I was like, oh, I want my Pokemon to be stronger for sure, right?
Oh, okay.
That's wild that you read that message.
I did. I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, what was your starter Pokemon? Did you do the secret thing for the Pikachu, or did you?
No, I didn't even know there was a secret thing because I started playing like maybe 2 days in, so I don't know if it was like well known that there was a secret thing. Mine's just Charmander. Yeah, I think I usually defaulted to Charmander or something when I was younger as well. I don't know.
Talking about basic for the last few minutes. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, what starter did you pick?
Squirtle.
Me too.
Yeah, but that's because your favorite color is blue. That's why. No other reason. Your favorite Pokemon's Mudkip or Swampert. That's basic. There's no culture behind that. You just picked it because it's good at PvP.
If you ask anyone in the world, like name a Pokemon, the two Pokemon they're gonna name, Pikachu and Charizard. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not my favorite Pokemon though. I can't pick my favorite Pokemon to start out though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Maybe you're just like a really indecisive person, Caleb. You don't have a favorite color. No, I do have a favorite Pokemon.
No, I have a favorite Pokemon, and I do have I just don't have a favorite color because I used to as a kid, but like now I just like I have no I don't know. I don't have any rationale to. Yeah, I don't have any rationale to gravitate towards it. My favorite Pokemon is Gyarados, though. Wait, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Sableye.
Okay, that's fair. Especially as a Pokemon Go player too. Wait, what was your favorite Pokemon before Sableye even came out in Pokemon Go?
Growlithe, maybe, because it was really cute.
Okay.
I went through the stage where I didn't want to evolve the Pokemon because they got uglier, like the more you evolve them. Like I think Bulbasaur is like the perfect example of that. When I saw Venusaur, I was like, ew, what is that?
You're right. I think most things get uglier. I mean, even Charizard, like, I mean, it's not like
Yeah, but
Not like
Charizard
bad
looks like
looking. It's just
cool. He looks fierce, you know. But I don't know. Venusaur just kind of. I mean, I have no
melodic is a good
shade
example of
goes,
not
hey, that's
following
true.
that.
That one
Yeah,
looks good.
yeah,
Gyarados as well, I guess. That one looks way
Yeah.
cooler than Magikarp.
cool. It doesn't look any better, but like prettier. But it does look Anyway, enough about aesthetics here. So you got into Pokemon Go in 2016. You just like never stop until PvP came out, essentially, or
Yeah, basically, I remember like when Sylph first came out, but since I had no Pokemon like background really, I was trying to choose like a team of 6 to use in like the very first tournament, and I remember I was the only person in the tournament. It was Boulder Cup that didn't use two Skarmories and 2 Metachamps or whatever. Like I tried to use 6 individual Pokemon, but I didn't know typings really. So I had like written down on like little pieces of paper, like which Pokemon should probably beat the other ones. And I was like, I came in, there was like 5 of us, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know any of these people, but I think I'll do a pretty good job. And then this guy, I don't know if you know him in the community, his name is Kev Killerka, and for
I
Belgium,
do. I'm friends with him.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was like so good at the time. And when he was playing, I think in the first Sylph season, he was one of the very few that hit like the very, very highest ranking. And he comes in on this like wheelie, one like a mono wheel with like wearing a Magikarp hat. And I was like, yeah, that guy's going to win the tournament.
Like a unicycle or like
No,
it was
it was like
electric powered.
an electric one, yeah, but it was like I don't know what they're called, but it's like they're a motorized one wheel that you stand on
I know
both
what
sides.
you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I've seen them before.
So he
What
like
the
strolls
heck?
into
That's
this
kinda-
venue with his big Magikarp hat and jumps off of one of these things, and I was like, yeah, that guy's gonna win.
How far did he ride that thing? Like, I feel like if he's a couple like miles away, that's got to be like a long
I think
ride.
it was, but he lived in Antwerp where I lived at the time as well, so it wasn't that far for him.
Gotcha.
But
What
then
the
after
heck?
that, like we kind of became friends, and so like every day during my lunch hour at work, like we would just be like, okay, let's do Boulder Cup, and then when multiple cups came out, and so I just got annihilated like almost every single time. But I was like, slowly, I saw myself getting better and sometimes beating him, and like figuring out the different strategies that he was using. I was like, oh, this is like a lot of fun.
Wait, does he still play?
No, not really.
Oh man,
He
saw my
actually
friend
started
play.
up with I think it was Zion, the Flash servers for everyone. So he was like one of the original creators of that.
Oh, okay. You know what he also is a creator of? I word on tree is he also popularized, maybe not popularized, but he was like one of the first people to run double shadow razor leaf teams.
Yeah.
in PBL. I think he ran Bastion double shadow razor leaf like pretty early on. It's like a contention between him and like 1 or 2 other people back in the day that were running this too.
I think he had suggested it originally to Wallower, and like Wallower like ran it in some things and also got it kind of popularized. But I think for me personally, and I think for a lot of Belgians, it was Kev Killer who did that. And then he would also give us like the little like breakpoints and stuff too, because he's like, no, Shadow Victory Bell can beat Registeel. Like you just got to stay in, you got to 2-shield this. And that was disgusting.
Well, I mean, double shadow razor leaf and Bastion, nothing really beats it. So he did find a way around Registeel somehow. Yeah, Wallower I think was running the Deoxys Defense Shadow Victory Bell.
Oh yeah, that's what
Bastion
it was.
online, so it was a little bit different. Yeah, I remember at one point in time I was trying to pinpoint who exactly created the double razor leaf line. It's between him and like someone else. But I think like it just came about around the same time too. But anyway, old school name.
Yeah,
Wait, so before you even got into Pokemon Go, did you did not know anything about Pokemon, or like
no? Did you even have a life? I was like, no, barely. I knew nothing about Pokemon. I didn't play anything with it, but.
Wait, did they not have this? Okay, so spoiler. Amanda grew up in Iowa, right? Did they not have any Pokemon in Iowa? I don't.
No, they did. I just wasn't like super interested in it. I was never really a gamer myself too much, and so I was just like other things had my interest. But since it was on the phone and I'm addicted to my phone, that was pretty easy swap for me.
Yeah.
Have you played other Pokemon games since you've gotten into it?
I have learned how to play the card game. So because I like Magic the Gathering, like I know how to play that.
Oh,
so,
I used to play Magic a lot as a kid.
Yeah, I got kind of addicted to it for a while, but
I
was like, oh, this is an easy like transition. So I learned how to play it, but I don't know like the nuances of any of the decks or anything like that. I played Unite for a while as well, and I have on loan Pokemon Black and White from one of the VG casters, but I haven't gotten around to playing it yet.
Okay.
So I'm slowly dabbling in all the other ones, but none of them really have my heart.
Wait, so no Scarlet or Violet yet?
No. Which one would you recommend? Everyone's saying that. Not everyone. I mean, it's kind of a mixed opinion. But Ben Kariako, the guy who gave me it, said Black and White's the best Pokemon game.
Do you know what? This is going to be based on how old people are, I think, a lot of the time. Because Black and White, right, I think it's people who are like maybe like 3 years younger than me would have played that growing up. And then they're just like, yeah, this is like 100% the best game in it. I'm guessing Caleb will probably tell you Gen 2.
Well, here's the thing. So I only played Red, Blue, Yellow, and Silver, and then Scarlet. So I like took a big hiatus after like playing Gen 2 Silver. So I haven't played any of the other games. So I actually don't know. I honestly so I played Scarlet, and I feel like these days the games are just too like advanced. You know, like I miss the 2D. Yeah, I miss the 2D. Like you're just going around the world by yourself. Like you can't really divert from certain paths. You're just going from like a 2x2 pixel like blocks, right? Pathway. You just explore. Like there's like something nostalgic about it. Now. Just like, oh, there's like this Pokemon here. You can see him on the field, just running to like 100 or so. Like it's like the grind just like so quick. Like whereas before you're like walking this grass patch trying to find something. You can't find anything forever, right? I don't know. It's just I kind of miss the old days where it was a little bit more simpler.
But was there still like a good storyline in them, or was it really just kind of like go and explore?
To be fair, the storylines most of the time are pretty banging. For how simple the game it's not simple, I guess, but like, you know, for what you're explaining, like, you know, 2D tile by tile kind of game, the storyline's actually really good.
I don't actually remember storyline much as a kid when I was playing it, but I think the storyline for Scarlet Violet is actually not too bad, especially the end. The like last like 5%. I haven't played the DLC content yet. The last 5% really really good. The first like 90-something%, you're just like, what am I doing? Like they make you go to school and everything. I'm like, I don't want to go to school. I'm playing a video game, you know. It's like those video games where you're just doing like office work. I'm like, I don't understand. Like this is just like regular work. Like those VR games, you're just like sitting there stapling stuff at a desk. And I'm like, what the heck? No, you don't understand. Yeah. When VR first came out, people were literally like at doing desk work while playing VR games. It was mad. It was crazy that people were into it.
All right, so if you guys had to rank the Pokemon games, what would you pick? Like, what would be the order for you? Or have you played them all as well?
No, I've only played like 3 generations.
I haven't actually played them all. I've only played...
my question is out of like TCG, VG, Go, and Unite, like gotcha. The whole actual games.
I've only played Go and VGC.
I haven't played... I played a little bit of TCG online, but like it was just against computers. I'd probably rank Unite as number 1 just because it's like a fun time.
Over Go?
Go is such a... I've been playing Go since 2016. I've been I'm just there to like, you know, do the daily. Like it's honestly just like a big FOMO machine, right? I like the competitive stuff, but like you can only go to so many tournaments every day, right? Like, you know, if we're like in tournament mode all the time, different story. But Unite, you can it's like competitive every game, right?
That's true. I think that's why you are probably one of the most competitive, and I mean this in a good way. Like people.
I don't even care if you mean it a bad way. I don't disagree.
Driven to really be good at the game. Like I find the older that I get, the less competitive I am about things. Like when I was like real like younger, losing a game was like a really, really big deal for me. And even at the beginning of Pokemon Go PvP, I was like, not going to happen again. I'm not going to lose. Yeah. But now I'm just like, yeah, that's realistic.
I'm less. I don't care as much about losing. I care more about like improving. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Well, winning's fine. It feels nice, right? But like, I care more about. So like, anytime I lose, I'm like, queuing up again, right? Let's do it again, whatever. Let's run it back because like I'm trying to find a way around it, which is why like I think Go's fun, but I want to say I've hit my peak. Maybe I've hit my peak. I don't know, but I feel like there's less for me to learn, right? Obviously, I don't think I'm like the best player, but like I'm learning less.
But at least you're the second best player multiple times, right?
That's true. Yeah, even second to Anicor somehow this season at GBL.
And me. I mean, it's the 3 of us. I think if we were to rank it,
You,
I
you,
would have thought that you would have hit it before all
okay,
of us. No
you
offense,
want
Anicor.
you want in on this this
No,
Misty cosplay bet? Or?
no. Listen. I love the fact that Anicor won, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like this hair.
Yeah, this is not fake. This is
Yeah.
still also there. Yeah. So wait. So okay. So you get into Sylph, right? I'm trying to figure out, and then so you're pretty much like OG, like from like first cup of
Yeah,
Sylph
yep.
ever, and then I think you probably just did all of them, right? Until
Yep,
like
basically, yep.
until it pretty much ended. What got you into like content creation and shoutcasting, just commentary? Because I feel like ever since I've known you, you've been like into commentary, right? I think
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when I first heard about you. I think it was probably through my PP Academia or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, so there was a couple other people who they're expats as well who live in Belgium, and one of them is Count Xavius. He's also one of the commentators, and
Wait, he's an expat?
yeah, he's
Oh, because
originally from India. Yeah, but
oh,
he lives in Belgium. And then
oh,
Spleen Lejeune, also he's like originally from Portugal, France, and then he moved to Belgium as well. So,
mhm.
but
Portugal.
so we just kind of met up in tournaments,
Yeah.
and they were saying, oh, we were thinking of making content like on a channel and stuff, but we don't know any video editors or anything like that. And I was like, oh, that's what I do for my main job is I'm a video editor.
Right.
So I'm more than happy to just like help edit some videos. And that's how it was just in my eyes was going to start was they were going to give me the content and I would just make the videos and put them out. And that's really what it was like for a while
Mhm.
as well. Like for Twitch as well, I would always run everything behind the scenes, but I would make all the assets and we would do like the shoutcasts for Sylph invitationals and for the gym breakers, things like that.
Mhm.
But then sometimes if someone couldn't make it, then I would fill in on screen as well.
Yeah.
But then over a while, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. And then they kind of had a call out for people in Europe if they wanted to try to start casting to like put in some applications because we had that semi-official year of the Pokemon Go Championship Series where it was
Mhm.
like on Neuralcar's channel, but it wasn't on the official Pokemon Go Twitch.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, I'll like clip together some of the stuff that I've done over the years. I'll ask some really good commentators for feedback and see if they give me any feedback on how I do. I think I reached out to 3 of them, and 2 of the 3 got back to me.
Dang, that's brutal. Someone left you on red like that.
Yeah, that's so rude. I can't imagine
Yeah.
who would be so
Do you know
inconsiderate
what?
to leave.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even go on that person's podcast if they asked me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good thing Two
I think
about
that's
us doesn't have a podcast,
Yeah,
you know.
pretty.
You know,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
looks like his feedback wasn't needed either way.
But yeah, it just kind of took off from there. I do think I have like I don't know how to say this without, I don't mean it in a bad way, but there's like no other women casters right now.
Yeah.
And so I probably have a small advantage there in that sense. But I do think that now that we have like Lou over as well, that's super helpful because it's like nice to grow the scene, not just with the guys. I don't know
Yeah.
how to make
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Well,
But
I feel
it's so hard to find people who want to cast rather than play in Europe.
really?
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
there's
like
a lot
flipped
of
in the
people that want
US, I
to.
think.
Oh, I thought there's a decent amount of people that want to commentate in Europe too. That's not the
I
case.
think that there's a like an okay amount, but it's not
Mhm.
like I think all of them most likely would rather compete, would rather try to qualify for
See,
worlds.
this is what I
And
was
then
thinking.
that.
Like, for example, you've got like Martine and Tho who just, or like Tho who just joined. But I feel like them two, I feel like they're also in that category where event by event, they're kind of split between whether they want to cast it or whether they want to compete because they're still competitors, you know?
I mean, I think that they're good enough that they would probably make it. I mean, I think Tho's actually already has enough championship points, so he is qualified for Worlds. He's going to go for that leaderboard for Europe as well. And Martine is like just like 50 points off or something like that. So I think that they're finding a good balance. And even Martine, who's like casted like half of them, I think already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you know them better than us. Would you say that they would commentate for like Worlds if given the chance over competing? if they're assuming they're qualified for both.
I bet Martijn would. I'm not sure about Thomas, but probably he would as well, because I think that was part of the big conversations that go on behind the scenes. It's like, hey, if you're getting called up to cast, would you want to cast or would you want to compete? And everyone, I think for the most part, said, oh, I think casting is a cool opportunity. But we got Thoen at that stage when he was like, I don't know if I'm going to play anymore. So we're like, okay, yeah, if you don't want to play anymore, how about you come on and cast?
That's one way to spin it. Yeah, I remember when he went to retirement briefly too for that.
Changed his Twitter handle from like just a guy who plays Pogo to just a guy. It was like the saddest time for Europe.
Looking back on it, that's so dramatic.
Yeah, but you know what? To be fair,
I mean,
it is who've retired. Yeah, he actually retired the best.
It's true.
He fully missed out on Worlds. When he really
yeah, but he didn't actually retire though.
Now,
for people that failed to retire, he failed to retire the best. I agree.
Okay, fair.
Because there's people that actually retired and just never came back.
Yeah,
and there's people that like you're not sure if they're coming back or not because you got Wahlberg tweeting like every 5 months.
Yeah. Like, this guy's head is in the game 24/7, but
no, hey, I'm Wahlberg. He made some really great content back in the day. Wait, so you started your PP Academia channel, was it during pandemic times?
Yeah, that's why kind of we started it as well, because it was just like, oh, there's nothing else to really do at that time. And before that, I wasn't on Discord that much, so I was never doing those online tournaments. But like right before the pandemic started, I started with the Gym Breakers team. So it's like I got to like see other like people in Belgium. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is actually, people do this.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, you gotta explain this to us too, right? Because you're not, are you considered European at this point, or you have American citizenship?
Okay,
like,
come on.
I was wondering this as
well. Because I feel like Amanda's the perfect like example of like sitting on the fence, right? Or trying to have her cake and eat it too, right?
Says the guy without a favorite color, I was like,
I'm dead set on the fact that I have no favorite color. I ain't gonna be like tomorrow my favorite color is red, right?
Okay,
today's blue, right? But you're sometimes like, oh, I'm rooting for the Europeans. They're all out. I'm like, well, I'm technically American, so
I technically am American. I have my American citizenship and I have permanent residency in Belgium. Which, spoiler alert, if anyone wants to move to Europe, it's the easiest country to try to move to because after 5 years of employment, you automatically get permanent residency.
Is that why you did it? Because Belgium's a really random spot to pick.
Originally, I was working with a company where their second biggest office was in Belgium, and I came over on just a temporary assignment, and then I just kept stretching out the assignment until I hit 5 years.
That's quite a stretch. That's wild. Some people haven't even been playing Pokemon Go for that long.
So yeah, I also try to claim the Swedish roots sometimes because my last name is Lundberg, and I grew up in like a Swedish American community in a really small town in the US.
I was going to say because like there's certain states which are like super. Like they had big Scandinavian migration,
right?
So like the whole area will just be Philip. I know Minnesota is one of them because like the Minnesotan accent is very much derived from like Scandinavian accents, and that's why they have like kind of strange ways of saying.
And we're just one state down from Minnesota, so Minnesota.
Yeah.
Wait, so there's
there's whole areas where it's like big Swedish population migrating.
Yeah. Also, huge Vietnamese. Like repopulation as well.
Okay.
Oh, that's wild. I just thought it was a bunch of white people in Iowa mostly.
Yep, that is also very true.
One of my friends is from Iowa, but he's not white, but that's what he says too.
I was adopted, and so like my family, like even growing up, like cousins and stuff, and I never really thought of me as Asian. I remember my nephew when he was like in 4th grade, they were studying different countries and he was doing some PowerPoint presentation already in 4th grade, but about South Korea. And my brother was like, oh, your aunt is South Korean. And he goes, which one? It's like, not the blonde hair, blue eyed.
What do you get on that project by chance? Interesting.
So you're South Korean.
Yep, I was adopted at 3 months. Yeah, this is my background is like confusing to Europeans for sure, but almost everyone. So I was adopted at 3 months from South Korea, and brought into this Swedish American family. So I have the last name Lundberg. And then when I moved back to Europe, so everyone is like seeing Lundberg. So they're automatically thinking that it's going to be some tall, blonde Swedish person. And then they see me. And then they get really confused whether to speak to me in like the language of the country or in Swedish because of my last name or Asian. And they never like think to just go to English.
Do you actually understand Swedish?
No.
If someone came up to you,
no. Just like very like bits and phrases. Same for Dutch, and I live in Belgium, so that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that's
well, how long you been in Belgium for?
I don't want to talk about it too long to not know the language.
What?
To be honest, I've got a friend who's been living in Amsterdam for like roughly that long as well, and I think she knows nothing as well of Dutch. They really
under
take
10
advantage
years?
of the fact that
roughly 9 years, I think. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. The thing is, they're so accommodating. Because, I mean, there's so many official languages in Belgium. There's French, there's Flemish, there's also German in this like really small portion that they just, if they sense that you're struggling with it, they just automatically switch to English because they're so used to like trying to speak English with different cultures.
Okay.
It's a small excuse. I get it. It's not a good excuse, but it is a small excuse.
Yeah. That excuse flies for like the first like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
9? That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you tell people you're part Brazilian too, you can claim all the regions.
Yeah. I got to figure out how to get myself down there.
Yeah. So we're at Worlds, right? And we got Amanda. Right. Well, I'm just sharing the truth for our audience, you know, for our loyal listeners that weren't there, they could kind of see from my POV, right, from my point of view, what's going on. We're at Worlds, and Amanda's like, a European's going to take it all, blah blah, and you know, just like Anicor, right? Every time a European dropped from Worlds, probably part of her died inside, right? but the thing is, you can't kill off Amanda like that, right? Because you know she's going to jump ship and jump on the bandwagon. She's like, well, I'm actually American, so, you know, we got top 3 in Worlds, too. So, really,
got to always be on the winning side here.
Wait, so who are you usually rooting for if it comes down to it?
That's tough. But it's yours.
Now you can't say on the fence,
I feel like the factions thing kind of exposed you know. So
no, don't try to sway her, right? What's the true response, right?
I know the European battlers the best because obviously, you know, going to the matches and commentating over to them and getting to hang out with them. I see the most of their battles and I know them as players. And so, of course, then you get a little bit biased, I think, too, because you see how they play and you're like, oh, man, this person's really good. They're probably the best, but you don't really factor in the whole global thing. I would say that I am probably cheering for Europe the most.
Okay.
But
we'll see what happens at UIC. Let's just
boy. I mean, after Nighttime Clasher took
he's just one Liverpool, of many. Yeah. He's not even the best NA player either.
Ooh, shots fired there.
Well, I think he'd agree. He hasn't even won a Challenger Cup in NA.
Oh, that's true.
So he can imagine him claiming to be the best NA player is kind of wild if he can't even win a small local tournament. I can give it to him that he's the best EU player. I'll give him that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, because he is European now, isn't it? So we kind of
We've embraced him as a
nationalize it how you want it, of course.
Well, he's studying over here for the next couple months, you know.
He's here for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
he's here for more time in the season or he will be than he would have been in the US. So
this is
anything,
all...
he was on holiday in the US.
Yes, exactly.
All I'm thinking about is how Anicor's like crying after Liverpool and like trying to figure out a way to dry tears. He's like, I gotta rationalize this somehow. I can't keep the tears flowing, right?
So
he's one of us now.
If anything, you lot let a European guy take top cut in multiple tournaments, so
It's true. I mean, Nighttime Clash is the only one to do it.
Look, I ain't one of the youths here, but that's what the youth would say, copium. But wild. So you also compete in some.
Yeah, I haven't competed yet in any Play Pokemon event. I know. The thing is,
what about before you were shoutcasting? You just weren't at the event.
I was in the US for a lot of the time. Like the first season, I was just so clueless. Didn't even know what was going on, really. I was in the US when the first EYC happened. And then I saw it, I heard about it, obviously. And I was like, oh, this sounds cool. But I didn't really get a chance to watch it, and then I was kind of gone.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't know if there was James the Blasian and RC Cola. They were
Yeah.
thinking of doing this documentary type thing about the first Play Pokemon.
They're still working on it right now,
series.
actually.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I helped shoot a lot of the footage for them of the European ones because they were asking. So
Wait, did
it's
you
like,
attend the tournament then as
I
a
attended
spectator?
Bochum.
But you didn't compete.
No, I met Lou's husband there. He was the guy who got me a media pass. And so I just went
Oh,
around
okay.
and I got like a bunch of photos and videos of the event to send to Ryan and to James.
Nice. Did you ever get interviewed for that interview or the documentary?
Did I ever get interviewed for it?
Yeah.
No, I did a lot of the interviews though. Like I interviewed Emmy
What?
Weedle
They
at the
didn't
very
interview
end,
you?
and no.
Well, it's not out yet, so it's not too
Yeah,
late.
it's not too late
Yeah.
to call. I'll have their people
This
call
is
my
like
people, set it up.
yeah, this is like my PP Academia all over again. Like, oh, I'm behind the scenes person, blah blah blah. No, all of a sudden you're commentating and stuff, and one of
Yeah.
the main commentators around the world, and you're not getting interviewed for it. Yeah, they gotta.
Yeah, good point. But I guess at that point I wasn't really too involved. I didn't really get involved until Stuttgart last year. So basically only 1 year into it. 1.5.
Wow, that was only December of
Yeah.
last year too.
That was
So
the first one that I actually attended like as casting, but then I had
wow.
attended Worlds before, but just as a spectator, filming some stuff with Ryan
Yeah.
at Worlds.
When I saw you commentating at Stuttgart, I was like, oh yeah. I guess she doesn't need my
yeah,
feedback
her.
anymore. I guess it's fine if I don't respond to this.
Oh, she made it.
I think I did
She's
respond.
fine.
I was like, looks like good job commentating, but like, looks like you don't need my help. Sometimes less is more, right? Sometimes
Yeah, sure.
less
Yeah.
feedback is better, right? Whatever
Exactly.
the
Too
other
many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah.
exactly. I'm just gonna sit out back while the other cooks are cooking.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the meal.
Yeah. But I really like, because we were talking about it once before, and you were telling me that it was never really on your radar until it was suggested to you because you were such a competitor.
Yeah.
And then when you started commentating, you realized, hey, I really like this. And that's kind of how I feel now. But I've lost my competitive edge also because of that, because I would rather be casting it than playing.
Yeah, agreed. Wait, but you still do competitive stuff like Battle Frontier and stuff, right?
Yeah, we're doing Battle Frontier. We did Sylph Factions before that. And
are you still doing Gym Breakers as well?
Yep, we still do Gym Breakers.
I feel
we just started back up, so yeah.
If I recall correctly, didn't Belgium beat like the best NA team or US team at one point? Because I remember my friend Palmer's up was like, dude, we're about to lose to Belgium. I was like in Gym Breakers. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Wadasha got 3-0'd.
Well, I mean, it couldn't just be with Dodge that got 3-0. It was
no,
like,
it's true, yeah.
It was like other people that were like also screwing up on the US team, right? If I'm not, I should say screw up. Getting outplayed, I think is a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, like we probably played the US 8 times and they beat us 7 out of the 8. But
wow, that's still a big.
You get them every now and then, yeah.
Yeah, once every 10, I guess. Once every 8. But I remember I was like, wait, who's on the Belgium roster? So I had Palmer Sub send me a screenshot. I'm like, dude, the only person I recognize on here is Amanda. Like, that's crazy. I mean,
they're lost actually to Elite.
Well, I mean, so did I. But there's well, no, I mean, looking back on it now, I've recognized more names, but at the time, I didn't really recognize any names. Mm-hmm. What the heck? This is quite the upset.
Yeah.
But
one of our players, Boom, he left our group because now he's joined the Pogoats. So he's like one of those young kids that are going to be sweet. He's never played a tournament ever.
Yeah, because like he's. Wait, has he not played a tournament because of the age of consent thing?
No, he did. Well, a little bit of that, but also just he always had stuff going on at the same time, and his parents like didn't really think like, this is something that do you really need to go to it? Because none of them are in Belgium, obviously. So he would have to be like, we'd have to be like, sure, can we pick up your young son and bring him to this other?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, true.
Some of them are like just across the border, whereas
exactly. I mean, nothing's really too far away in Europe with the Ryanair flights or with the different trains and everything. Yeah. When I come back to the US, that's like one thing that I always is just like, oh man, I have to drive everywhere.
You drive everywhere. You have to fly everywhere you want to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, transportation's not the best here. It's also a fairly large country too, so.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like Belgium is 1/5 the size of Iowa, which is obviously not that big either.
Belgium is 1/5 the size of Iowa?
Yeah.
Iowa's not even big.
No,
And
I know
Belgium's
exactly.
1/5 the size?
Yeah, and
Wait,
with
what's the total population of Iowa? I feel like it's probably smaller than
3 million,
LA.
I think maybe.
3 million?
This is my guess. I don't know.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
guessing
More
Belgium
people in
probably has
LA
a
than
higher
Belgium.
population as well.
Yeah,
I think Belgium
LA
has like 8 million or something.
Oh no, Belgium has more than that. Belgium's 11.59 million.
That's what I said. I think Belgium has like 11.59 million people.
Yeah, you were
Wait,
spot
you
on.
said, but it's 1/5 the size of Iowa?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What?
It's really small. Like you will like from where I live now, I could drive to like the Netherlands border in an hour. So
That's nuts. How
and
do you fit
also I could
everyone
drive
in
to the France border in 2 hours and to the German border in 2
I
hours.
think
So
you know what? When I went to Lille, I think it was like 2023 season or something like that. Afterwards, I got a bus from Lille to I think it was somewhere in Belgium. It was only €4 and it took like 3 hours, and I was like, "That's insane."
yeah, that doesn't doubt it. When I went to
insane
Lille
price.
this year as well, I think we took from the Brussels train station, and it took like 35 minutes to get there and it was like a €12 ticket or something.
That's mad.
So.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There's low key. This is kind of why I want to move back to Europe as well.
Yeah,
It's
we will
like
happily embrace you with open arms, Anicor.
there's nothing nearby here. Do you know what I mean? No, even Australia is far for Australia. Yeah, I was chatting to some people who were like looking at tickets to go to Perth, and I swear down, a return ticket to Perth, at the moment for like around when the regional is, round trip is costing the same amount as it cost me to get to Australia from the UK.
Wait, what? How
You
much
can
is
fly?
it?
Huh? Sorry, it
How
was
much
like
is it?
around 800 to 1,000 Australian dollars,
Yeah, that's
which is
nuts.
like around £400 to £500, which is insane because it's like you can fly across the world for the same price as it costs to fly within
You
your
said
own
like
country.
1,000?
Yeah,
Australian
1,000
dollars?
Australian dollars. Yeah.
Wait,
I was.
I'm actually surprised it's that cheap to go back to the UK from Australia.
It's like £400.
That's like the price it took for me to get to freaking Portland from LA. I had to push my flight back, so I was like added a little bit, but I'm like on the same side of the coast too.
Yeah, no, when I was in Atlanta earlier, because I was there for like the whole month of January almost. I was trying to talk with my mom and say, "Hey, like come and visit." Or I'll come to Iowa, but tickets were like $700 and I was like, never mind. I love you, Mom, but I'll see you next time that I'm back.
Yeah.
I don't love you that much.
Yeah.
I don't love you $700.
I mean, that's like over half of what it costs pretty much to get from Iowa to Belgium. So I was like, I can't like justify that.
Man.
Oh, that is nuts.
Europe
the
is
cost,
really where it's at, man.
It's true. It's true.
The cost from here to like London's like about $700, which is kind of wild. But that's what I'm telling people. I was like, if you're from NA, just go to EUIC. It's not that much. It's not that much more expensive than going to like an NA regional.
I really hope we get a lot of people as well, because I think that makes it more fun and exciting.
So I don't want to say which people, but there are some Asians that I know who are planning to travel, including some Asians who are actually under the TPC region. So they're not going to get any championship points, but they're still planning to travel.
But what if they win first or second?
They get like prize money and stuff like that, but they just
don't auto qualify
qualification or championship points.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
How many people from the TPC regions do you know that are going? That's kind of wild.
Not a load, but like still like 3 or 4 more than I thought was going. Because
that's 3 or 4 more than I would expect it too. That's wild.
So kind of mad.
I have some friends in the Middle East area, and they need 200 championship points to qualify, but obviously no regionals and not really locals there. But I was like, I think if you're going to try to do it anywhere,
you win like 2 or 3 times, you're good.
EUIC is going to be it.
And the players aren't that hard to beat either.
So I've heard. I mean, from what we've seen, anyone from another region.
I heard it's because Caleb's going.
Hey, my record's kind of. Oh yeah, okay. See, I'm one of the few people that's ever not experienced that. So,
I'm really hoping it's a 5-12 cap though. Like, I think because at the moment, like, I think a lot of people know that the tickets are going to be super competitive.
Yeah.
Assuming that it would be like a 256 cap. So if it's a 512 cap, I feel like it will be super comfortable where everyone who wants to go will be able to get a ticket. But I'm going to be in Japan at the time the tickets drop, so I'm going to be waking up at 2 a.m.
Why just not go to sleep until
and then just go to sleep again. No.
Yeah, that seems like a better trend.
You're gonna oversleep. I already have a feeling.
No. I need to get.
Yeah. If you're not commentating it, would you compete, Amanda, at USC? First time competing too. That'd be wild.
Yeah. I definitely want to compete. The big problem is I travel a lot for my job, and so if I'm not commentating, it's kind of hard to justify my partner's so needy. He like wants to actually see me on the weekend sometimes or something. So it's like, it would have to like line up schedule wise, but I definitely do want to compete. And I mean, now that there's also cups and challenges, I've been hosting a couple of them for people this season, because I think at this stage I'm like, okay, I probably won't get enough points to qualify, but maybe next season.
It's definitely still very possible. Because I've only gone to one regional, and that's it. And I just need championship points. Like, I could technically qualify off of just locals after that. So
yeah, but you've also I mean, like you came out with 160 off of one regional.
Well, yeah, but you all only need 400 points, so it's 100 less, right? So if you get 60 points, then that's plenty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like UIC, I feel like can. Do you know what I mean? Because of the like larger amount of points that you can get, they're like a semi-decent run at an international can kind of put you like a majority of the way where you can just collect up the rest from.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I mean, like Savage Boy, a guy from Norway, he went to LAIC, and I think he got like 62nd place or something, but he still got 100 points, which is, basically top cut.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So.
Yeah, he was like one.
Also, bear in mind there'll be like challenge and cup.
Oh
at the same
all
time
this extra,
as the international as well. So it's like, good.
I've been getting some crap about it from the other casters as well, and I do plan on competing at some point.
You know what?
Yeah, Leo competed.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say that's mad to be getting crap about it from them, because half of them also haven't competed.
I mean, some of them have competed before, but just not this season. Yeah, this season there's like none of us have really, besides like Martijn. I guess not none, but.
Wait, haven't all the EU casters competed outside of maybe Zionic?
Zionic hasn't. I haven't. Count Xavius hasn't this season.
But he has.
But he has in the past.
I know Delian competed in Orlando last season.
Yep. And Lou's competed in BG, but not in Go.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out then. For maybe you should show the NA players how it's done at New Orleans. I see.
Well, I mean, like I did compete on stage, but not for any prizes, of course, during the EUIC when Zionic and I did that booster pack. So Zionic and I actually did. We both battled on stream as well. Does that count? No, that doesn't count.
Let's say Anicor's battle on stream too on some random Twitch stream. What an interesting time. So I feel like outside of Zionic as well, you're the first EU caster to commentate at internationals and stuff too, and be involved in Worlds as well, right? Yeah. What was that like?
That was really cool. It was a nice opportunity, I think, that Daniel kind of gave out at that time, and recognizing, I think, that they knew that EU was going to be brought into the official broadcast the next season, and so just giving some good opportunities there. I think it's really fun to see the differences between the EU streams, I guess, and the NA streams. I don't know if you have your opinions about it. I know that I've talked to Will in the past about he doesn't like how the interviews go in Europe, but we're just like, we actually kind of like our little like play area where we get to have sit down interviews.
No, I think that looks way better than our like behind background. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
He doesn't like it because he thinks it ruins the pacing, which I can agree with. Like sometimes, I mean, I think obviously like the goal of the interviews is to get to know the players better, but also just to make a pretty like cohesive stream where they're not just playing video after video while they're waiting for the players to
Do you
set
know what
up.
the thing is? I would say it's like if the interviews are delaying the matches, then fair enough, yeah. But if the alternative is putting one of these videos that have been, rerun about like 70 times, and do you know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather not watch that. So I think, and you know what the thing is, I think like from the European stream, so obviously it started off as an unofficial stream, and as a result I feel like you lot felt like you could take more creative decisions, just kind of have a bit more fun with it. And I was a bit worried when it became an official stream. I was like, oh, they're going to lose a lot of that. Because in my opinion, I was like, that's what makes the European streams better.
I mean, we couldn't spam this pan to help status Stan on the official streams anymore.
That's such a shame because
wait, you can't do that. I'm pretty sure I saw that on an NA stream once.
I think if something has been, I mean, I've had messages deleted on the official stream because it's not unique. So it's like if enough people are saying like "Go Caleb," if 4 people say "Go Caleb" in a row, they delete yours and be like, "This is not a unique." Thing. So I don't think you can spam anymore.
But I mean, you know what? Generally, I feel like you lot you've still maintained a lot of like the fun and creative aspects, and I think that's really important because obviously, look, the US stream is like good and everything in it, yeah. But I think because they started off as an official stream, there's a lot more like formalities, which personally I don't think needs to be there. Do you know what I mean? In it, yeah. It's like I was gonna say we're not even casting sports, yeah. But to be honest, even in sports, yeah, you don't really want someone to be like super dead serious. Do you know what I mean? You want a bit more like relaxation and stuff in it. And so I feel like the EU stream has that advantage where this is still kind of maintaining that.
Yeah, I would say, like, I mean, I think that is the good thing. The bad thing, although again, it's our first year, is that we're obviously not as polished in a lot of aspects because a lot of us really came in completely green to the whole process, and also, to casting in general. So it's like learning a lot of things along the way. But I mean, overall, I mean, again, it's when we pick the Europe or NA. I like our setup better. I like our caster desk and our interview area. I think that our stuff looks really slick.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it delays the actual battles, that's one thing. But typically speaking, having now started to do the interviews on the NA side, like it doesn't really delay the battles because they're still setting up the next one. And the caster that's interviewing is not casting, so they don't have to like run back to the desk real quick, right? Like to cast a battle. So
yeah,
I think it's just like a simple toss. Wait, so I assume when Speedy said this feedback, it was before NA started doing these interviews too, right?
Yeah, it was before, and then also, yeah. I mean, all the examples that he's given was from before, but even still, he thinks that the way NA does it is better because he likes the whole like the quick, almost like off, right away getting the impact of how this person feels and seeing everyone setting up in the background. He's like, it just feels more lively.
Do you know what he's moving? He's moving as if it's like a. Oh, what's the example here? Not a boxing match, right? But maybe a boxing match where the guy's just like sweaty from knocking out his opponent, and then the microphone's straight in his face. You know what I mean?
You just won the Super Bowl. You're going to Disneyland type of, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We need to have like a mist machine or something, get people sweating before they go on to interviews. Coming off of like, whew, I was sweating after that battle.
Towel hanging around their neck.
1 HP in a dream.
Someone gives him a bottle of water halfway through the interview.
Yeah. The coach comes by, right? That's real.
I think that's what is in Speedy's head. I can't lie. Yeah. Whenever he's seeing that, that's what he's seeing.
But speaking of interviews, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys just saw the latest one in Dortmund, but Arceus Aurelius was the champion, and that dude is just fun to interview. He has so much energy. We call him like the European hype man, and so it was just like, it was super easy. At one point, I read in the chat, like, is Arceus Aurelius interviewing the casters?
He's a character for sure. Yeah. He's very MMA when he battles too.
Yeah.
I did a few podcasts with him, and it was nice because again,
you did a podcast with him?
Yeah, like when we were doing the Dracovic stuff. So my
the
favorite,
spaces, yeah.
my favorite Dracovic spaces was the one just after Worlds, because it was me, Marcus, EJ, and Jakobovic. And we were sitting outside this little riverside cafe in Japan. And we were like, and it was not Rob was on there as well, but he wasn't actually with us. And we were doing it from there, and it was so good. It was like a good hour and a half. We were just like, chilling there, birds in the background, nice and sunny, and just like discussing the events of the weekend. It was really.
I like the.
Really nice.
Wait, Argus Aurelius was just spectating Worlds, because I don't think he competed at Worlds last year.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The thing is, you know what? I loved when he in one of his interviews, and it might have been when he won, but he was just like, I love this game. I love everything about it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, like one, it kind of shows, yeah. And two, I kind of rate that because it's like you can tell it's a very genuine passion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole reason he came to Worlds was because he just felt like how could I not? And I think it was a very last minute decision as well, if I remember correctly. But it was like, how could I not go to the biggest event of this game that I love so much? And so it was really nice to see him win on the weekend. And again, you could see the emotions and stuff.
Right.
It also would have been cool if Colin won. Just for the story, because Junebug winning 2 in one season and then having
Kovacic as well.
I got a bit of a bone to pick with you, bro, because you lot. Yeah, look, the thing is,
me or Amanda?
Nah, Amanda. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, from time, when as a European, for the whole time, I was like, you know what? These Americans, they're moving as if the rest of the world doesn't exist. Yeah, they're casting events as if no other events have happened. Yeah, and I think it was LAIC where I made a tweet and I was like, you guys are out of order in it, because you've been casting day one of LAIC. Yeah, the only things you lot are referencing are previous American regionals, and you're completely ignoring the fact that you casted a current world qualifier, do you know what I mean? There was all these things where they were just completely ignoring. Yeah, obviously they've improved over time. Yeah, but this weekend, that shoe was on your foot.
That's true. I had the perfect opportunity to.
It completely ignored the Jakobovic thing.
Listen, you know how I feel about the APAC region.
That's a cheeky way to get out of it.
No, I thought about that later too, because I mean, I was even in a conversation with him in a Discord where he was talking about how he kind of felt bad, and you shouldn't feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad for wanting to compete and be the best and possibly being the best. But you're absolutely right. That was my bad.
I told him, I was like, I won't let my region do that to you again.
Listen, if it didn't
cost what if they do it to him again? What if they do it again? What are you going to do?
Nah, bro, when it comes to EUIC, any of the Asians that come over from EUIC, I guarantee the casters are going to know everything about them.
We're gonna be getting all
I'll give you the entire list. I'll give you their birthdays. I'll give
if they're a caster like me, they're just going to read it, give you a thumbs up, ignore it.
That's what he did. This is what he did. Yeah, if you listen to the last thing, during Worlds, you had a Chiodo against Luminous, right? And I messaged him and Butters telling them about the fact that they're really good friends. They have a YouTube channel together, and it was a really good sort of storyline thing in it. Yeah, this guy gave me a thumbs up, and that was it. Didn't mention it on the whole
because
thing.
Butters mentioned it right away. Why would I have to mention it twice? Butters said it. It's a different story if Butters didn't say anything and I still didn't say anything, right? But Butters said it right off the bat, and so I'm thinking, man,
let him have the limelight.
It's a team, it's a group project. I don't have to do everything by myself. Wait, what's Colin Six's username? I'm trying to look him up on Dracovic.
Oh, you have to put an I instead of the L, because it's actually a capital I.
Oh my gosh, that's so
super difficult.
Is it actually Colin Six, or is it?
It's Colin with an I instead with a 6.
Oh my god!
And then IX.
No, I got the 6. Good luck, Caleb. I mean, there's not a lot of people with COII in their name, so it's pretty easy to pull up. But incredible run from him too. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's 7th in Lille, 25th Gdansk, 1st Stuttgart. Liverpool is
Well,
kind
he's
of
the only
anomaly,
European
65th.
player to win 2 regionals. Just
Yep.
In general,
like,
yeah.
in
Yeah,
general. So,
because he won Lille the year before.
And that was his first regional too, which is kind of
Yeah.
wild.
yeah.
Lille,
Yep.
Yeah.
13th Utrecht, 33rd at Worlds. Who did he lose to at Worlds? He lost to Paul Lasha, and he lost to Andres. He lost to 2 Europeans. Beat Poki Squirk though, and then Pomotoro.
So that's
Pomotoro.
Japanese Pomotoro. Yeah.
Oh, Pomotoro. Okay, and then Patrick Albany. I mean, 3-2 Worlds not bad too. But yeah, unfortunate to lose your own region.
Yeah, fellow Team Pizza player. And just a little piece of information. So a Team Pizza player has been in the grand finals of every European event this season.
I mean, that's easy to say when you have like 500 people on one team. You know, well, what's the flex? You know, what's the flex?
Hey, we have way less than Swablu's. Just saying, yeah. So
well, they don't go to all the events though. I think for the Swablu's at least, their stat line is that there's always one Swablu that makes top cut every regional.
I feel like this is possibly the case with Team Pizza as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the case with Team Pizza.
Well, of course it is, because if you have one person at every grand finals, of course they're going to make top cut every.
What kind of, no, but I meant this season, as in this GBL season, innit? So it didn't happen in last GBL season, but I'm assuming top.
I thought you meant season like 2024 season.
Nah.
But
probably top cut.
Who the heck says GBL season? That's like
that's true.
That's the as in like this meta. Grand finals.
Okay. This meta.
But like in terms of this season, probably top cut.
I think, definitely top cut every championship. I'm trying to think about it now, where I could be wrong about this, but
I have a feeling it's probably the case though. Yeah.
Wait, is Arceus Aurelius on a Battle Frontier team or anything?
Snover Tappers. With
the
Glass Cabolton, who won Lille as well, so they're on the same team.
Gotcha.
They currently have 2 champions as well.
Yeah. Keeping track.
It's harder to mess up their stuff though than it is to mess up talking about tea and pizza.
Yeah,
that was.
I remember that that iconic moment. It's clipped too.
It is clipped. Yeah.
I don't know how many views it's at, but
I think it's got quite a few.
Yeah, do tell for our audience, for those that don't understand the reference. What happened?
So I was doing the ceremony at the end, awarding to Dinoski, a really, really good player, for tea and pizza. And I was thinking I would be rather clever because I didn't want to say, like factions or really mention anything grassroots. And I had this whole clever thing where I was going to say he drinks tea, he eats pizza, and it didn't quite come out.
Well, what was the punchline? He drinks tea, eats pizza, and then what?
He's Dinoski, it's just like a whole,
Okay. But what did you say instead?
I said, he drinks pee. No, he doesn't. He drinks tea.
Look, we're not kink shaming here.
I know you got paid by the emperors to do that.
The emperors, where they been at? That's my question.
Yeah, that's why they paid.
I did send Dean a Christmas gift. I bought him a cider. And then I made like a special label for it that said Dean's Special Blend, and I sent it to his place with like
was the seal broken? Was it rebottled cider? What's going on? Sometimes it could have been cider to start with. Interesting stuff. But anyway, so Dortmund just happened too, and I know you're commentating it, which is why that's not the only reason why we want to get you on, but
it was the only reason why we wanted to
we're desperate here. Who can we get?
You think this guy's replying to your DMs? Yeah,
exactly. Only when he wants something.
That's 100% true. No, I think I reply once in a while.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm looking at it too. Arceus Aurelius, I just missed out on Worlds last season at 4th place at Bochum last season, and then they were running some, and then big congrats to him for winning it all, but they were running some pretty wild team. You know what the first thing I noticed in this grand finals head-to-head?
Tell me.
Talonflame.
Well, I mean, there's Talonflame. They're both running teams that are 4 times weak to Bassi.
It's all you ever look out for, innit?
Yeah, because I'm
It's true
thinking,
though, yeah.
yo, if I was there, how would
Yeah.
it go?
But
And
do you know what? Do you know what's interesting? So
yeah,
okay, like meta wise, when the usage statistics, the day one usage statistics, let me just say,
Mhm.
and day two usage statistics were a shambles.
That was
50%
scuffed.
Guzzlord and nobody picked up on it. Like,
No, we picked up on it. We
wait,
were
there's
like, we need to get this
50%
graphic
Buzzword
off the
on day
scene.
one.
It was like
huh?
the
No, it
percentages
was
were just way off.
yeah,
We
it
had
was
a day
just
two
like really
usage graph.
strange. Yeah.
Oh,
was,
okay.
But day one usage was interesting because it looked pretty much the same as Knoxville. I'd say outside of Talonflame. That seemed like
Right.
the one thing that kind of like crept in there that wasn't really expected.
Oh, Bombasino also picked up in use, at least in the grand finals, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
there's
as
a
in
decent
like in
amount.
terms of like overall day one usage for
Oh, okay.
all teams, right? And when you look at that as well, the teams, when you're talking about like strong or weak to Bastion, I think when you played, I'd say before Annihilate release, to be honest, Bastion was probably at its strongest, and then it feels a bit less strong recently, mainly because of things like Annihilate, Whiskash, and Gligar are kind of the central core for most teams, and then you've got like. You might have some other picks like Reggie Steele or maybe Lantern or something like that. So it's like
Reggie
not all
Steele.
teams are going to be
There's like
that.
2 Reggie Steele in all of top 16. What do you mean? Oh no, there's 4.
Well, I
There's
mean,
4.
yeah, but
There's-
that, in
But there's
terms
one
of
in
the
top
overall
8, yeah.
usage was like relatively high. So I feel like it's not a bad sort of assumption to make that Bastion wouldn't be too popular in this.
Oh no, I
particular
don't think it's a bad assumption to make ever. Like that, you should always assume there's not going to be. Most of my teams are weak to Bastion too.
Yeah, no, but I think in around the time you came second, and maybe like a couple events after that, I think Bastion was a very legitimate consideration when team building. Because if you're team building and you're going to be
still
weak
winning locals
Bastion,
with it.
yeah. Well, there's some people built different. I'll just say,
One of my Belgian friends, Slow King, he won the challenge that we just had in Antwerp. And he was like, he said, I didn't do any practice. I didn't look up anything, but I saw that Caleb had posted a video with this team that he won a cup and challenge with. So I just stole that off of that, and he ended up getting second. So he was like, all right, yeah, make sure to tell Caleb thanks.
It was like second place.
This is a second place team.
Melbourne too. Yes, true. Second place. Second place is Melbourne too, though. The only person taking a set off of Yakovovich. 15 games.
Hey, did you know that he was a 2-time regional champion in one season?
I didn't know that.
See what I did there?
Yeah, that's interesting. Never knew that.
Maybe something to bring up in a future events.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, be a really interesting stat line.
Especially when the European comes close to doing that.
Yeah, exactly. You should have just messaged and blasted me, and I would have picked it up, and I would have said it at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, we had said that all the Germans, or Martin said all the Germans got knocked out of the competition, and then we just see in the chat, Zwyla said, I exist.
So. That's true. Fourth place there.
The French were on it. Yeah,
they came to play for sure.
Because there's a lot of players who I wouldn't personally consider to be like, oh, you're going to be regular top cut appearances, and yet they made insane runs in the top cut.
Yeah, like Tragicomics, like he did really well.
Yeah, I was like, what? While watching Tragicomics, because his brother is Arsenio.
Yep.
And I was like, is he going to make it further than his brother? Because I feel like Arsenio is one of those players, at least last season, where everyone was like, oh, surely he's got to come first or second at some point in the season. Do you know what I mean? And he'd get occasional top cuts and just like fall a bit short. And I was like, is Tragicomics going to do it? Like, is he going to get way further than his brother? He's been trying for so long, And with a tackle Greedent, which I thought was insane.
That was a cool read. Yeah. I thought the core broke a lot of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what was
especially
mad about
because not a lot of steel either in this meta.
Yeah. And the thing is that like, I think a lot of the time, right, people would against
what
teams
is the
that
tackle pick up over the mud shot?
So I honestly don't know, but
it was better against Licky Tongue for sure, and also I think against like Talonflames or like other players, just putting a little bit more. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
Glider's
against
everywhere
teams
too.
that would be running Annihilate. So you'd see that obviously they would be like, well, look, I've got Annihilate. It hard walls his tackle Greedon. There's
Yeah.
no way he can bring it. And he'll bring it that first game. And they've got no proper answer to it because they're just making that assumption. And then second game, they're overcorrecting. So honestly, it's a bit like your Bastion.
That's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, they overcorrect second game
it.
and then it's nowhere to be seen, you know?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Leaky Tongue is always used as a safe swap, especially because of Annihilate, made it even safer. And Tackle Greedon is just like one of those things that perfectly counters it. And plus, he always had the Shadow Sableye as well. So then he would like pair those two. So if there wasn't Annihilate, there was not really a lot that it could do once a Sableye came in.
Well, yeah, and you got Zoomer, Shadow Glider. Like, it's it's
Yeah.
tough to bring in. I like the team composition. It's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
And then
Talonflame. So this guy was saying how it was bad Pokemon last week.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Bro,
This guy?
I don't remember.
You were chatting
It's
about
a long podcast. It's 3 hours.
it was a
I
very
still
long
think it's
podcast.
bad, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, the thing is that like the argument I was trying to make last week was that things like A/Slash and Talonflame, they have a niche because there's nothing that does their job the same. And they've got the kind of coverage where even against their hardest counters, they've got some sort of play. Obviously, A/Slash is a bit more tricky because the hardest counters are going to be something like Annihilate, and you really got to do like.
No, I mean, according to a mind joke, it's actually not that bad. So
hey, he knows better than me, you know. So it's probably true. But you know what? You saw that this weekend as well, where it's
that's
like
true. We did see one knockout.
Yeah. And then Talonflame being able to take out things like Azumarill or Whiscash in certain situations. And obviously you saw that like all like right throughout the finals. And then also some unfortunate mistakes with over-tapping Incinerates as well.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you all that too. We can make this the tea topic of the week too. I saw that this little tweet on Twitter about this was Nessabethan versus Arceus Aurelius, right?
Yeah.
Match where Nessabethan was trying to switch. Well, there's like a sliver of room where how about I'll let Amanda describe the situation because she was actually there. Were you commentating this battle?
No, I was watching it because I was going to interview whoever won the matchup. And to be honest, I mean, it really looked like Nessabethan had it. But he just, what happened was he went to go switch into his Whiscash from his Talonflame, but he clicked in this area where it was right next to the box where the Whiscash is, but it's still registered as a fast attack. So it didn't end up doing it. So, of course, he ended up swapping one too late, and it just gave Arceus Aurelius the energy that he needed as well to completely take out the Whiscash. And then the Talonflame came back in, but it was no longer, like, I think it was 2 times buff before that. So, yeah. I mean, Marcus Arceus Aurelius, he said it himself too. He said 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, even probably out of 1,000, like Nessabethan had that matchup. It's like it's just that one. I just got really lucky. We were calling it plot armor. You know, it's like when a video game character like seemingly just does seem to do well despite the odds, and it's like this doesn't actually make sense to the storyline. But Marcus had a couple of those things going on.
With the fly on the Registeel as well.
Yeah. Otherwise, if Colin didn't throw that, he would have won the championship right there. So. I mean, but again, that's kind of the way it is. It's a little bit of luck sometimes as well, and
honestly, capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes is a part of like being good at the game as well. Do you know?
You can only play as good as you can. You know, like sometimes you're going to get countered all the way throughout or whatever. Even
and then there was that one match which was it was like Wolfpack against Damon Cash, and Wolfpack had him hard countered, like literally throughout the whole thing. And he literally had him hard countered. Like let me see what their teams were because it maybe reminds me.
Wolfpack and then Damon Cash.
Yeah,
you know, it must have been something like I can't remember it. It was literally hard counter, right?
Yeah.
And Damon Cash managed to bring it back right at the end, but it was...
But then he ended up throwing the last game because he swapped in the Mantine to the Lantern.
That's
not much you can do.
To find a win
con
there.
He still made it close, to be fair, but I mean, I feel like someone else did this too. Zweilous won against someone where he was hard countered in the lead, and in the swap. He swapped in his Charjabug, but I can't remember who it is now. But he ended up winning that matchup, and I was like, man, I think that just shows don't give up.
I think it might have been against Tragicomics, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, you know what? It's all well and good. Your opponents can make mistakes, but if you can't capitalize on the mistakes, that's actually the skill right there. So
right, yeah, no, definitely. Also really solid run in third place. Excuse me. Thank you. Catch-on 69.
Yeah.
First ever top cut, right? I mean, looking at
top cut. Yeah.
First ever top cut. Looking at previous performances, 65th in Liverpool, 97th at Lille, 49th at UIC last year, 25th Lille, and then 33rd Lille the first season too. So,
and he didn't drop a single game until he played against Colin Six in the finals.
Right?
In the winners finals.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, and he beat some impressive people. He 2-0 Tho, and then a few other people. I remember looking at the bracket. Like he wasn't
Stone Collection, I think, as well. And like he was just going through names there.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. So,
but he's like really he's on the GBL leaderboards a lot and stuff.
Oh really?
So I think that he's been a really good blind 3 format player, and then just trying to find his niche here in the show 6. But I mean, he definitely found it this tournament.
Yeah.
I think he's usually an Ultra League player as well, which is maybe
come find me. We're in different regions, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, what a great one for sure. What's the next one? There's another European tournament, right?
Yeah. Utrecht. And
is this next weekend?
Natuurlijk.
No. That's it for this season. There's no more tournaments this season.
Oh, so it's ended. Oh, Utrecht is the one that's like it bleeds over to the new season.
Yeah, it's like where you can't use the new moves, but you can still use the new buffs. Which, again, anyone who's listening, who's like managing this, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. I don't want to watch a tournament which it's the Broly tournament. You know what we were saying? Yeah, this is like
the Broly, the standalone.
It's like
you ever seen Dragon Ball Z, Amanda?
No.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked. I mean, you haven't seen Pokemon.
Exactly.
See Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's basically there's this one character who's like quite popular, but he only ever appeared in these standalone movies, which were not canon
unrelated
to the
anime. Yeah.
So it's like this is what it feels like. It feels
and
like
he's been in like 4 or 5 movies too. He's not like it's not like a one-off. Like he's been in so many of these.
He's like a popular character as well,
Yeah.
But yeah, just has no relevance to the actual thing. And I feel like this regional will be the same thing, where it's like, how much of the regional can you really take and get some good information on how the season's actually going to play out when half of the moves you probably can't even use.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was like, it's kind of a bummer that happened, because a lot of times the European ones are the very first ones within the new meta, which is cool because it's like caucuses. Iowa has a caucus, and you kind of get to see the temperature of the
I don't know
area,
what Anicor knows. Just explain what a caucus is for our non-NA players.
A caucus is like when all the presidential candidates will come to like the state.
Okay.
And they'll kind of petition of why they think that they should be the president, basically, and then all the different regions.
Just based off what you just said, I was like, okay.
But all the states that do this, so, Iowa goes first, but then everyone's watching Iowa because they're saying like, "Ooh, who do they think is going to be like?"
Yeah,
this is president.
Like the most popular every I guess every 4 years.
Yep.
Iowa's the most popular state for a short time period because everyone's like, it's a big swing. Like if you win Iowa, and Iowa's kind of like a swing state too, right? So like it's not like one-sided anyway, like regards to which party you're in. But if you win Iowa, you have a huge momentum going forward, and they have like a bunch of stats on this too, like the odds of you winning like the primary or whatever if you win Iowa, etc. is like exponentially higher, I think. So
yeah. So I feel like that with the European regionals, it's like we're usually the first one within the new meta. So then people are trying out stuff and they're like, okay, this Pokemon's really good. But now that it's like this half split thing, it's really difficult because you're not going to be able to use a lot of the things. And
yeah. And then it's like, you can't really start. I mean, obviously it depends on when they make the announcements. So maybe you can start team building 3 or 4 days before, but you can't practice with any of the mods.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Then the day before, you'll finally find out about any relevant energy changes. Is it energy or damage that they don't announce? I think
It's
energy, right?
usually, I think
They don't.
both.
Yeah, they don't say
I think
energy. They say damage, but they don't say
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. They
So
say
like any
damage, they don't say
relevant energy
yeah.
changes, and if anything, I'm not going to lie, the energy changes are probably more significant than the damage changes realistically, because that can really like bolster a move or not.
Well, this
so
is like
the day before,
Incinerate.
you're going to find out about those, and then you have a day to practice with them, and then also it's like the day before you still have to lock in like that evening, right? Your team.
I think it's the day before. Yeah.
So really, really making that Friday like super important for, I guess if you're traveling down, you probably don't even want to be traveling on the Friday. You probably want to come on the Thursday.
And it's hard for people like who are still trying to get their championship points and stuff as well, because it's you can't really prepare for this tournament in the same way that you could really like do your homework and study, your counts and your move sets and stuff. So
and also it's
I
set to
get
be a
that.
huge tournament as well, because
It's a special event, and all the special events are usually, for better or worse, like huge registration numbers. And so I think that changes things a little bit, because it's free to sign up for.
But I think if we consider last year, obviously they I think, to be honest, that was probably one of the last events where they like didn't fix the bracket thing and had loads of
No seating.
There was like Snorek, who made round 4 from Poland.
Exactly.
And honestly, he probably would have, like, this season, he probably would have got championship points for it as well, which is kind of wild. So like for how far he got. Like considering last season, if you take out all the people who didn't show up, there was still a really significant amount of people. I think like maybe
there was definitely
140.
We had a top 16, I'm pretty sure, for it.
And so I imagine this year, so apparently at the moment the numbers are around 200, maybe a bit more than 200. I think we'll still see maybe about 160 minimum.
I think so too. I mean, this season has like grown a lot. I mean, even Dortmund, which was like one of our smaller ones, was still over 100 people and everything. And so
I almost hit that top 16 cut too. But
like I'm curious of your guys' opinion of this. But a lot of players are saying that they think that there should be like a penalty for no shows at special events, because it does screw up a lot of these brackets. Like some people were saying, I got kicked out after round 2, but someone who wasn't even here got made all the way to round, I think it was 3 or something. And this was even this year in Barcelona. So
I don't think there should be a penalty though, because
I think they just need to like work the bracket better.
I think that's what they're trying to do now, though, with the seating a little bit. But of course, if you still don't know if someone's not going to be there,
but I mean, I feel like so obviously they're doing the brackets now a bit too in advance. Let's say on the Wednesday night, but there's still a check-in process, right? You still have to check in something.
Yep. Yeah. You have to have a team registered, I believe, as well.
You have to have so team registered, but then there's some sort of so it's like, surely once you get the check-in. Yeah, if anyone's not there at check-in, I understand that they want to keep people on the bracket just in case someone shows up last minute and they give them like a match loss and let them carry on with the tournament. That's fine, But I feel like whatever check-in process you're doing, you should probably go off that and be like, well, this person's obviously here now, and so we won't put them on the lower half of the bracket with all the people who are likely not here. And then you won't get that issue. And I imagine that's probably something they're looking into now, because, if you don't, it's going to be really obvious on stream, and it's not going to look good for the event in general. But I don't think it's that hard to solve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not involved a lot in the behind the scenes stuff, but it was kind of disappointing seeing that, there's so many people at this event, and then really having the number like really diminished. But at the same point, I think the game is just continuing to grow.
With Barcelona, it was a shame mainly because there was a cap on the registrations, and it hit the registration cap. So that was a bit of a shame, because it was like, like if you don't want to show up, cool. But if you don't show up and then you take someone's place, then it feels a bit bad,
Yeah.
Whereas here, like it doesn't seem to be any sort of cap, or like any significant cap at least. And again, they can just make the bracket beforehand to reflect that. If someone shows up last minute and then they have to, be sitting in the area of buys, like it's not really a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's true. I think part of it's also like I'm not a big fan of punishing people for it, because then you want to incentivize people to go to these events, right? I think part of it's just growing the game enough that like everyone that signs up is actually going, right?
Mm-hmm.
For like VGC and TCG, like the tickets are like they're not even booking hotels and flights before like for example EYC tickets go out, because there's a good chance that they might even get a ticket, right? Because they sell that quick. Whereas Go's not really at that point too. So I think
it's
we're
gonna be
there.
so cool. Yeah, it's gonna be so cool when we get there. Like, I mean, I was looking at when we were at LAIC and how they're flying in competitors and they're on the top of the leaderboard to compete. It's like, oh, that's gonna be so cool when we can go to that stage when there's enough competitors that say, hey, top of the leaderboard, you get to come to these different countries. It's a big incentive, I think.
Yeah.
I think next season is going to be huge, like next championship season,
Mm-hmm.
because one, you'll have locals right off the bat in every region. Most of these locals as well would have had a lot of time to, or like most of the communities would have had a lot of time to, set up their locals during this season. And so from next season, it will be like, well, there's no extra work needed. Like everyone knows what to do, all this sort of stuff. And I think already this season, you're seeing a lot of people attend when they've got some championship points from locals, being like, well, you know what? It's not even that much more that I need to maybe, push myself a little further. Maybe I'll go to another event.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're definitely seeing it. So I was saying like after Melbourne last weekend, there's only one regional left in Australia, which is Perth. And Perth is usually known for, like I said, I told you how much it costs to go there. So nobody goes. And, it's usually like 20 people. And unfortunately, feels like a joke regional, Fortunately, one of the winners of the joke regional is actually a super good player. And Avrip got like, day 2 of Worlds. So, joke regional, not necessarily joke players. However, this
is it a joke regional if there's no joke players?
Well, not necessarily all joke players, but like this season, a lot of people were saying after Melbourne, they were like, well, you know what, it just might be worth me flying over to Perth and actually competing, just
because they lowered the threshold for championship points, and now they have locals.
And then
so
if you have like a challenge and a cup at the same weekend as well, then it's like one journey or one weekend just to like gather up as many championship points as possible. And you might see Perth, which like I said was nobody attends this regional, turn into maybe a relatively significant regional. So
I did get word from Yakovic that he would not be competing at Perth. So
rightly so.
Rightly so.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to leave some sauce for everyone else.
Nah, dude.
He could be the first ever 3-time regional in one season.
Yeah, and then you'll actually mention it on stream.
Yeah, I would. Pass that along to him. I'll mention him on stream then.
Anyway, either way, if he changes his mind, he shouldn't feel bad about it at all. I think.
I mean, look, the thing is,
if you can't beat him at a joke regional, you ain't gonna beat him at Worlds, right? Saving you the money, the trip to Hawaii at that point.
Nobody would put it past him if he went, because again, it's like you said, you have to beat the best to feel like you're worthy of competing, and if you can't, then that's on you, But honestly, there's I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's some competitors who are competing who are from the Perth area, who I know are actually good players who haven't competed in the last couple of years, and I'm quite excited to see how they do, because these are competitors where I feel like they're within the top bracket of Australian players, so really excited, and their names aren't really quite known yet, so
right.
Really excited to see how they do.
I got a question for you, Amanda, as we're wrapping this up. Maybe I'll ask Anicor this as well. But Anicor, I guess you both might be biased. Everyone's biased to a degree. In your mind, who's the best European player right now? Only choose one. You as well, Anicor. Although Anicor is probably going to name some tea and pizza
honestly, folks. No, honestly, I think it has to be Colin 6 right now.
That was who I was going to say as well.
Yeah.
He's really good.
consistency.
and he proved it this weekend, where it was like he was on the cusp of being a 2-time regional winner.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll have to look at his like record again, but I think he's this season in general he's been quite consistent.
Yeah, I think he had one other top cut. Man, that eye kills me. He's the only
Okay,
person
so
with
he didn't do too good at
COII.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
But not amazing at Gdansk, but he had a top cut at Lille. But I think these last few months he's kind of proven himself to be like one of the most consistent players in Europe at the moment.
There's this big joke with the Inadequents and Toe Technical where they're like, who's the best Dutch battler, because they're probably the most well known, and then now it comes to a point where everyone's like, Colin.
Yeah. Performance wise, he definitely is outperforming them for sure. I mean, he might attend a few more than them, but that's fine too. Is he close to the top of the leaderboard?
He's got to be now for sure. I mean,
right? Because I don't think they have the they might not have factored in Dortmund
this
yet.
one yet. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, no, he's also pretty calm and collected too when he plays, which is
I mean, he's not a man of many words, but what he says is pretty impactful, and I do think
which is very funny in juxtaposition to Arcus Aurelius.
Yeah, exactly, when they're next to each other. When Marcus is talking about how good everyone, and then Colin's like, I think you're good too, Marcus. Like, that was just like his whole statement. It made me laugh.
So looking at the leaderboard, it seems like Pataman would still be top. Assuming that they haven't added the points. But he may be second. Yeah, it's possible he's second and Pataman's just top.
Yeah.
So still pretty
Sounds
good.
Like
I don't think Colin's been to many locals, to be honest. I think
I know he's played a couple of them, I think. Because the Netherlands has quite a few. And so he's played in a couple.
I always see it's like Stan, Martijn, Do, Triptando. There seem to be like the only 4 people going to these locals. And then
but I mean, they're like all good players too, right? So I wouldn't say it's easy local by any means.
Yeah, it's just like it seems like them 4 are the ones that like really.
Dude, Statistan has been super consistent too. Wait, was Statistan at this one?
Yeah, he qualified for Worlds. He didn't make day 2, but I think he got like 60 points, and he was only 3 away. From Worlds or something after like the latest challenge that he won.
I'm looking at his record from this season. It's 33rd at Lille, 9th at Gdansk, 7th at Stuttgart, 5th at Liverpool. So constantly moving up. Maybe not after this weekend, but still definitely one of the most consistent players, I would say. In the EU,
I mean, I really love the adding of championship points, because I think it's kind of cool to see, these people are qualified now. And I think, maybe it's not a lot of championship points, but I think that's almost a good thing, because it gives a lot of players incentive. Because then they're saying like, it's not that hard. Like, we're not even like halfway through the season yet. We haven't even had EUIC with all the big points, and all these players are already qualified. I could try to do that next year. And I think that's like a good mentality, I think, to have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, something I'm really curious about, especially from our listeners too, so maybe comment down below if this resonates with you. But what I'm wondering is, because we're seeing increased participation in all these regionals from compared to last season, right? At pretty much every repeat regional, and just in general, the participation rate's gone up across the world. What I'm curious about is, are you more inclined to compete because championship points are now the qualification metric, rather than need to get like top 2 at regional or top 4 at international? So that's something I'm really curious about, because we're seeing increased participation. Maybe more people just get into PvP. That's also a possibility, but I'm curious if championship points are driving that too. Me personally,
I think it's got to be a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because for me personally, if I wasn't casting and I was competing, I know that I'm a decent battler, but I'm probably actually not good enough to be getting first or second at a regional. So it maybe takes away a little bit of that incentive. But I do love like locals. Like, I love like actual in-person tournaments. So I would probably still go to them. But now having championship points, being like, okay, but even if I don't do amazing, if I attend enough of them, if I go to these different things, that will still add up. in time.
Yeah, I know a lot of players, like, they'll go into tournaments and even getting something like 60 or 80 points from the actual tournament, they'll be like, well, this was worth me coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's probably not even top cut, but it's like, oh, well, it already feels like a performance that I'm happy with. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious too, but I think those are definitely good factors. And it seems like a lot of people at the top of the leaderboard are still chasing that.
Yeah, they want that
too.
travel.
Yeah. I mean, some of them seem like they got the travel board locked in, but they're still chasing for it too, which is, hey, that's fine by me too. More tough competitors in every tournament. Before we wrap this up too, what are kind of some something I'm curious about actually before we get into this next thing I was going to ask is what's your future plan, right? Are you mostly into Go commentary, or are you trying to do like commentary for like other games down the road, or like where's your mind at on this stuff?
I mean, for the most part, I'm just interested in Go. I guess if there was any other one that I would have any potential interest in, it would be Unite, just because that seems like a fun group to get into. You see them at the ICs and at Worlds, and they're like they're nuts, right? And so it's like, yeah, that seems like a fun crew. But I like commentating Go a lot, but it's also because, again, I know the players and I know the game pretty well. And like I said before, I'm not really a gamer, so I don't have it in me to really want to go out and study like a bunch of like new games to have the knowledge and wherewithal to add some actual context to those games. So yeah, you're stuck with me with Go. Sorry, Caleb. And sorry, listeners, if you don't like me.
That's fine. I don't think we've ever commentated together, actually.
No, that's true. That's true.
No, we did commentate. We commentate Adelion and Speedy's matches.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, at EUIC on the pre-show.
Briefly,
yeah, I
it was like
remember
all
that.
Shadow Showdown something.
Yeah.
Speedy got stomped.
He did.
but yeah. So that was the only time. I joke. I don't know if this is true or not. I joke. I'm just like, it's too much diversity on the screen at once.
I made that same joke once as well. So we'll have to see if that's really Daniel's thoughts.
I will change my mind if I'm ever casting with Mark Sun, you, or Softo. But until then, I'm pretty sure there's like, we got too many Asians on. Let's
that's a good amount of Asians casting, though, if you think about it. That's nice.
Yeah, I know Aaron Zane and Necra always cast together in a lot of these tournaments, especially at Worlds. So,
but I also think like it might be by chance, but like Aaron, in my opinion, is the best like knowledgeable caster, and
that's why he always does grands.
Like, so it's like they're like kind of the two best casters just in general. So
they complement each other well as well, because Necra's like very play-by-play. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we both just have to be the best of the best then, Amanda.
All right, that's my goal. I mean, there was the big joke. I'm it's Axon's mom's favorite caster, and I'm also Emmy Weedle's mom's favorite caster. So that's in my Twitter bio.
But you can't preface that as a joke, right? You have to preface that as truth.
That's true, but it makes it look like I'm saying I'm the favorite caster of 2 world champions, and then it's like moms.
Fair. What's about Dancing Rob? You gotta get that one on too.
Yeah. I got a locker down there too.
Yeah. Holding down. I know that you used to run a podcast with Inadequates / Mark. So what's the situation there? Because you're giving us a little teaser before.
So we're gonna start up the podcast again with a little bit of a rebrand as well. And so we were toying with a couple of names, and we landed on.
Let's hear it. Wait, hold on. Give us the different options you all thought about, and me and Anicor picked the best one, and then you tell me what you landed on to see if like we're on the same page, right? Because we don't like because if you're giving to us, and then maybe our audience can figure it out too, right? So they're not influenced too, right? You listen to them, they're thinking something best.
We didn't really think too hard about it, and we landed.
It hasn't been rebranded yet, right?
Sure.
So
you can. Right? All right. That's true. That's true.
Okay,
all right.
So what are the options?
So our original thought was, because it was originally the Stadium Cast podcast, but now Go Stadium isn't really a thing anymore, and we didn't want to have anything now that was like infringing on Pokemon copyright, because like we had like the idea earlier of like the Crib Brawlers and Machampions, but then you can't really do too much with that outside of like non-official stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? And we're trying to think of things within Pokemon that are associated with Pokemon Go, but doesn't specifically say Pokemon Go or Pokemon anything.
Right.
And I came up with something with the tap tap, like tap tap.
Okay.
So we're trying to think of like
is the name.
Yeah, then we were, and then
well, give us all the options. Yeah.
Okay. So then Technical came up with the tap tap yappers.
Tap tap yappers.
Then I was like, or the tap tap yap yap.
Okay. Tell me there's other options.
And so, but ultimately, like enough people were like that they didn't like the tap tap yap. They didn't like the yap portion of it. So we just, as of now, we're just like the tap tap cast.
This is it. This is
this is what we landed on.
It's called Tap Tap Cast.
The Tap Tap Cast, yeah.
The Tap Tap Cast.
So we're talking about Pokemon PvP related. It's going to have a similar theme of what we did before, kind of like what you guys are doing too, talking with community, talking with PvPers, what's going on.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the content from the previous iteration. The Tap Tap Cast. What you think about that,
Anicor? That's fair enough. Like it's like very neutral, do you know what I mean? Isn't it? I feel like just listen to Tap Tap Cast.
The Tap
listen
Tap
to
Cast.
Tap Tap. Yeah.
So something
have you seen the new Tap Tap episode? You seen the new Tap?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it won't get that short.
The TTC.
Well, there's like 3 Ts, right?
Yeah.
So something I heard on this one guy. His name's Devin Nash. He does a lot of content on like social media and engagement, and everything, and marketing. And what he said is the best brands, whether you're like an individual streamer or like a company or a group, whatever, the best names are ones that are 2 or 3 syllables. Think about streamers,
Yeah.
I don't know. Think about some big streamers. Like, okay, here's a good example. Marto Galde. Right? That's 4 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever says, I'm tuned into Marto Galde's stream. They always say, I'm tuned into Marto's stream. 2 syllables.
True,
right?
true.
Right? What's another? Though Tactical.
Yeah.
They're tuned into those.
But we just call them Though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tuned into Though Tactical stream. But anything with 3 syllables is fine, right?
Yeah. So just Tap Tap Cast then.
Inadequate's like no one's gonna say I'm tuned to in-ad stream, right? It's fine because inadequate's only 3 words, right? At 3 syllables, it's fine. So my recommendation
I feel like that's not inadequate. That's 4.
Yeah. I think you're counting it wrong. Yeah.
That might be an exception to the rule. That I don't know. In-ad also sounds kind of weird. Well, maybe like a lot of people call Mark time, right? That's
everyone calls it. But this is what I do with in-game names with people. If their in-game name is longer than their real name, then I call them by their real name usually. Or,
Speediest Chief. No one really says Speediest Chief. They just say Speedy, right?
Yep.
It's easier.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
2-0 Butters.
I'm screwed either way because I'm Lundberger and I'm Amanda, so it's the same syllables across the board.
Yeah, that's tough. But the podcast name's not set yet, so
that's true. It could just be Tap Tap. The Tap Tap or Tap Tap Cast. Yeah, that's a good.
I think
thanks for the free marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
I think
Tap Tap
doesn't need to be there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can always say like I'm a host on the Tap Tap Cast, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
But it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, but it doesn't be the title. Title could be Tap Tap Cast.
All right.
I
like this.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I'm sold on the name particularly, but I would just say
if you come up with something better, let us know.
Or under.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's kind of clever because everyone who plays Pokemon Go knows that it's like that people call it a tap tap game, and so it's not really, but it's kind of playing into the.
I mean, if you really want to rip off a podcast name, you could name yourselves the Battle Dogs.
When I had that joke with Zionic when we were like the Saddle Rats. The Saddle Rats. Did I ever show you that logo?
Saddle Rats? Wait, yes, I do remember that. Yeah. The Saddle Rats. That's funny. Tap Tap Cast. Okay. Well, we'll be on the lookout too.
Yeah, you'll stew on it, and then you'll be like, "Dang, that's really good." You guys. You guys are gonna come around. I know it.
I don't know about that one. I still didn't. There was. I mean, I guess it's not really secret info anymore because I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But remember when Go Team Up was the thing, like the team format from Go Stadium? There was talks of rebranding it. they were going to rebrand the name to Tetra. Stupidest idea I've ever heard. Like
sounds
Go
like a
Team
very
Up.
Twitter X sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like Go Stadium already had Go Team Up was already a good enough brand. Everyone knew it, and I don't know why like a bunch of people from Stadium were really sold. Paul Marcel was one of them too, right? And I would be on his case all the time, right, about how it's a stupid idea
don't
to
do
rebrand.
it.
Yeah, why do you need to rebrand it, right? No one's telling you
Yeah.
need to rebrand. You already have this. You're already competing against Still Factions at a time that had way more participation. Why rebrand it when you already had a format that people are already familiar with? When you're already getting out, like what do you call it? Outmatched in terms of marketing from Still Factions. And you're gonna change the name to Tetra for what, right? Like, focus on the format, focus on the marketing. Don't change the name, right? Like, that's crazy to me. And I remember he posted in our team chat once. He's like, "Oh, like like Tetra's coming back soon." And then like Auburn's like, "What the heck is Tetra?" And Palmer's was like, he's like, "Auburn, please." I'm like, "What do you mean, Auburn, please? No one knows what the heck this is. What are you begging them for? Like, how could you blame them for not knowing this thing that's not even been existing, rebranding out of nowhere?" Like, to this day, I do not understand. This is where groupthink is super dangerous, because I'm sure a bunch of people within Stadium were like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool. This is a great idea." They did not workshop this with anyone outside of them.
That sounds so like corporate as well, where they're like, "Yeah, we need a new,
yeah,
new name.
yeah.
Something to
Let's
really grab the attention.
Yeah.
let's
Something
call our
really
social media
gritty,
let's call our platform Meta, right?
Yeah.
Let's rename our whole brand X.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it Tetra anyway. So look, all the more or less stories, it never grew on me. So
All right, but we'll see for sure. I appreciate the free advice though for the
You're
3-syllable
welcome.
thing. I think that is pretty true. So
Three or under, 3 or 2 is what
Yeah.
I heard is like kind of the golden rule. I guess inadequacy is the one exception to that rule, but but yeah, I think that's usually how it is. Anyway, that's all the questions I have. Do you have any other questions, Anicor?
No, not really. I do have some final plugs before we sign off. If
Okay, what's
now
what's
is-
the
I also
plug?
want to plug. I also want to
Yeah.
plug.
Oh, of course.
Awesome.
Amanda,
Obviously, this new awesome podcast that that Martine and I are coming out with.
Tap Cast.
The tap cast.
Could also end
But-
up being Battle Dogs.
Tetracast.
Well, I think it's something highly competitive here.
TTTC. Yeah.
But also, I have a YouTube as well where I put out some content with some of the places that I travel to, of what it's like to play Pokemon Go in those areas, and also kind of the vlogs of the different Play Pokemon.
You understand the struggle now, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The amount of time and effort it takes to film a vlog, and you get only 1% the views of a GBL video that'll take you like 5 minutes to make.
Exactly. It's so sad. But at the same point, it's the type of videos that I find the most interesting. So I'm hoping that they catch on as well.
But
that's on at Lundberger Pogo on YouTube. So
I stopped
check
making
him out.
vlogs for that same reason. Yeah.
So what is that, Lundberger Pogo?
Yep.
Do you have another one that's just Lundberger? Because I was like,
on my Twitter, it's just Lundberger, but Lundberger was already taken
in, like,
on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, so I was like, okay, Lundberger Pogo makes the next logical sense. I don't know. I'm gonna take him out by the knees.
Because they got your face on there as well. So
they got your face on there? Really?
Well,
that's how my
identity this
theft.
Lundberger is not Lundberger Pogo, but
yeah, that's wild.
Obviously.
That's wild. What's your plug, Anicor?
Oh, okay. So this weekend, so it's like I say, it's end of the season. There's no more events. However, I've been speaking about this in previous episodes, but we've been doing the Asia Pacific Championships over this season, and last week was the final week for pretty much all the regions. And, we now have the top players from each of the regions. And they'll be competing this Sunday, Asia time. So I believe it translates to like 4 a.m. GMT, probably a bit late in US time zones. But again, it's going to be a live tournament. So, maybe you'll catch some of the later rounds. But we will be streaming on YouTube this tournament. And it should be /APC_Pogo. So it won't be too hard to find.
On
I'm going to be
YouTube,
putting
okay.
out like bear promotion and stuff as well in it. So like people will see it. But now, why should you tune in? There's the question. Well, one, no more events this season, right?
Okay.
Number two, these are so we don't often get to see Asian players play on live stream because obviously all the CPC regions,
What time is it
they're all
again?
remote
What time of
tournaments.
day?
It's starting at 4 a.m. GMT, but obviously it's
4
a double elimination bracket.
Well,
And
on
there's
Saturday?
like around 22 players. So yeah, it'll be Saturday for you lot. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, it will be like 4 a.m. GMT Sunday. So it will be
Okay.
probably
Gotcha.
late night Saturday for you lot on the
Right.
West
Alright.
Coast. But yeah, we don't often get to see Asian players play. And this is not any like weird like format or anything like that. This is the championship series format, show 6, pick 3, OGL, like everything you're used to from a normal regional, double elimination as well. But a lot of players which, like I said, you wouldn't usually get to see. So just I'm gonna read off a few names of the people who've come first in their particular region, right? So in Japan, we had Pokemon Maker who came first. So maybe you might know them as Akira on Twitter, but generally, especially if you're like a first place leaderboarder, you're going to know of them. If you ever watch GBLA streams, they competed in many GBLAs as well. So exciting to see them from Japan. From Indonesia is Mini Koki. Now I don't know too much about him, but I'll be diving into a lot of the information about the Indonesian players. Personally, I have like a bit of a lack of knowledge on the Indonesian players, but it's something that I'm going to work to build up on. But they went 16-3 throughout the season, so obviously a really accomplished player. In the APAC bracket, we actually had Yekai come first. So I'm sure many people know Yekai. Qualified for Worlds last season. I think he's not even 18 yet. I think he's maybe like 16, 17. Amanda, you might have met him last year at Worlds.
I'm trying
Possibly.
to think. I think I did. He go to the social?
He was at the social.
Yeah, I think I did. Yep.
Yekai, incredibly consistent GBL wise. I think he's hit first on the GBL leaderboard twice this season, which is like super impressive.
Yeah,
so, a really, really good player. But what's really interesting about his run this season is actually during the first month. So, like, that's around the first 6 to 8 games, he was actually in the relegation zone. And then he switched something up after that and just went really consistent throughout the rest of the season, and ended up in first place. So super impressive there.
Nice.
For the Oceania region, Rick Flareon actually ended up as first. And again, anyone familiar with the Australian battlers will know him. Anyone who's watched Worlds will know him as well. And actually, little fact here, the first pioneer of powder snow A/. Yeah, he used it at Worlds, and nobody was using it at that point. And only around the beginning of the season, people were just like, "Oh, it has a better Lickitung matchup, has a better something else matchup."
Flag guard matchup.
Yeah. So the first pioneer of powder snow A/. And then finally for the Indian bracket, we have Nava Empire, who came first. And Nava was the first Indian battler to reach number 1 on the leaderboard, I believe. And it was like a famous sort of thing because they were like, they've finally gotten rid of the American bias on the sneaks and denies, and then an Indian player gets to the top of the leaderboard. Yeah. So, these are just like 5 other players who are competing. There's around, like I said, roughly 20 players. And the skill level is going to be really high. So anyone who's looking for something to watch this weekend, there's no regional stream, please tune in. It's going to be a great thing to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll see
Very
how
cool.
it goes. There's a stream for our local Sinnoh Tour Go Cup as well on Friday. That'll be sometime around 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific. So
what's the signups for that at the moment? Like how many players?
I don't know. They have like probably over 30 plus or something.
Okay.
I think the cap is 50 something. So it's like a It's like Australia regional. No fault to Australia because they cap you all right at a certain limit. But I think it's going to be Swiss with a top cut stage as well. So could be interesting. Could be interesting. Yeah. But we'll see.
So that's your viewing content for this weekend. You got LA Go Cup,
which is on Team Rocket's PvP, I think, on Twitch. Okay. Let me double check that for you, but yeah. I think it's Team Rocket Academy, maybe. Let's see. No, that's not it. Team Rocket something.
Just giving them free traffic for
Team Rocket PvP. No reason. Team Rocket PvP is the thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway.
So yeah, Team watch Rocket that on the Friday/Saturday, and then you got the APC on the Saturday/Sunday. So.
Yeah.
And in between, feel free to just check out my YouTube and just watch those videos. Just put them on in the background for the extra clicks and views.
No perfect, guys. This is this weekend.
Yeah.
You got everything.
What a trio.
I know a lot of people out there were worried. They were like, no more regionals. What am I going to do the next few weeks? Well, we got you covered.
Yeah. Well, we also have the Sinnoh Go Tour as well in LA.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be big.
You're going to be here. Yeah. That'll be a fun time. Anyway, thank you all thank you, Amanda, for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for the invite. It's been fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you back on after your first ever tournament competition.
Yeah. Well, after I win my first regional, then
just win the international. You know, here's the thing, right? To incentivize, to help convince your partner that you should go to EUIC, right? If you're not commentating it, is you gotta tell them, you're like, there's gonna be a man dressed up as Missy. Cosplay,
and he's gonna have blonde hair as well.
I don't know. He's gonna be wearing an orange wig, right? He's gonna have hairy legs, right? With these short shorts, and you got to take a photo with him. Something to look out for.
If that doesn't convince him, I don't know what will.
Exactly. Anyway, thanks for joining, and we'll catch you all next time. Peace.
Yep. Talk to you guys.